Hello Moglets, today we're going to be taking a look at the special program version 2.6. There are a couple of main things I want to talk about, naturally the new character Ayato, but also we'll be getting a couple new artifact sets, definitely want to touch on those as well, along with a multitude of events, some coming back, some changed, some new ones. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it. So let's go ahead and start with Kamisato Ayato, the brother of Ayaka. I really like his design, very elegant, classy, sharp. His moves and animations look really nice as well. Fast, flashy, I like all that stuff. How they went about explaining his skill set was a little confusing, so I'm going to try and break it down. So pressing E is mostly a buff skill similar to Hu Tao, but it can also do damage, because when he presses E, he'll leave this watery clone behind. So unlike, say, Hu Tao or Yoimiya, he can gain bonuses that require skills to do damage. What's interesting is that he'll scale off of HP with this skill, but yeah, essentially once in this state, he'll buff his normal attacks to do what you can see on screen here. Very quick Hydro type attacks. For every attack that hits an opponent, he'll get a special stack, and this stack will increase the damage of those hits based on his max HP. As far as I can tell with his burst, it's much more simple. It's basically a big AoE of Hydro damage, and characters within this AoE will have their normal attack increased. This skill makes me think he might be a really good pair for Yoimiya, because Yoimiya, like off the top of my head, is the one that's doing the big damage with normal attacks, and, you know, Hydros everywhere, Vaporize. As far as his passives go, one just helps him gain energy while off the field and under a certain amount of energy, and the other one relates back to his E, or his skill. And it basically helps him get these stacks we were talking about earlier that scale off of his max HP and increases the damage. So that's him in a nutshell. Seems to me like he would classify as a burst DPS, potentially main DPS, but I think most of his damage is going to come from his E, and then of course his burst, he can be off field for that. And of course if he's low on energy, he'll gain energy while off field too, so we'll have to wait and see. Obviously going to be pulling for him, building for him, and trying him out when he actually gets in the game. But yeah, that's all for Ayato. Really looking forward to him. Seems like a really fun character to play. Those quick slashes in skill mode just look so cool. In terms of the next banners, we're going to have another double. We have Ayato and Venti in their own separate banners coming in phase 1. And then Ayaka alone in phase 2. I believe this is Ayaka's first rerun. I know a lot of people still want Venti. Bones really wants Ayaka. She has Ayaka on her little account, but not her main account. Yeah, she's been waiting for the Ayaka rerun. Also, as usual, a new 5-star weapon to go along with the new 5-star character. As Ayato's entire kit does revolve around normal attacks, I assume it'll boost something in that regard. All I can officially assume is that it's going to suit Ayato perfectly, as, you know, it's going to be his weapon. Again, as usual, new story quest focusing on Ayato. We will also have a new area, the Chasm. They sneak peeked this to us last special program, and now we are going to be getting it. Seems to be some huge mining type area underground. I'm not sure if they ever mentioned where this area actually is. From the character name here, I would assume it's around Liyue, but it could be a completely separate place. In this new area, we'll also have a new domain with some new artifacts. Thankfully, really been itching for some new artifacts, something else to farm. Let's take a look at them. I'll give my thoughts. We have Vermillion, Hereafter. 2-piece set is 18% attack. This would be the third one now after Gladiator and Shimenawa. Sounds very situational, but perhaps very strong in the right situation. I want to do some testing when the set comes out, of course, but just first impressions wise, I mean, from what it reads here, you can potentially have a 48% attack boost from the 4-piece set, which yeah, it does sound pretty big, but I mean, you have to get hurt 4 times. The main characters I can think are ones that inflict self-harm. That sounds wrong, but you know, like Xiao, when he goes into burst mode, his HP keeps ticking down. It'd be pretty easy for him to get the full stack. Hu Tao hurts herself with her E, but that's only once. I can imagine, you know, if you're in a grassy area, standing in some fire for a little bit would proc all those really quick. But yeah, off the top of my head, it sounds like a set built for Xiao. It's kind of weird. I don't think this new character inflicts self-damage. I didn't hear them talk about that, so Echoes of an Offering, however, could be something more suited to Ayato. The 2-piece set is also attack, so now we have the 4th one. Its 4-piece set sounds a little RNG. Essentially, you have a 36% chance every time you fire a normal attack for the next normal attack to be buffed. This buff will be 70% of your attack. And I guess in pretty much every case, it will only be one normal attack that is buffed, since it says 0.05 seconds after a normal attack deals damage. Again, something that will require a little bit of testing, because for example, let's talk about Yoimiya here. She fires pretty quick, not 0.05 seconds quick, but she is also ranged. So if she fires an arrow and she still has the buff, but she fires the next arrow before the first one hits, or within this tiny window, maybe they'll both be buffed. Who knows? I don't see why they would even have a timer there in the first place if it was like that, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, if you miss this 36% chance, it'll keep going up by 20% for each normal attack until you eventually do get that bonus for the next normal attack. It's a set with no special requirements as long as your character does deal most of their damage via normal attacks, so it will just be a DPS increase, but a little bit RNG about how much DPS you're actually getting out of it. This would be the preferable set for Ayato since he does do most of his damage with normal attacks. But yeah, those are the 2 new artifact sets. Looking forward to farming them. But let's go ahead and move on. New Archon quest, continuing the main story, I reckon. Requiem of the Echoing Depths. Seems to be featuring Dainsleif. I know a lot of people are excited about that, and me included. He hasn't been present for a lot of the story, and it feels like it's been a while since we last saw him, but yeah, he's coming back. For our first version 2.6 event here, we have Hues of the Violet Garden. Seems to primarily be a story-focused event, but there will also be some small, like, mini-game type things. First of all, you'll be taking some pictures of some objects. Next up, Theater Mechanicus is having a return, although it seems a little bit dwindled down since the other Theater Mechanicuses. I'm not against it. Seems simpler, more streamlined. You'll have like a requirement to use a certain amount, and you can equip the buff cards from the get-go. So yeah, it's like a smaller version of Theater Mechanicus. For the third mini event, I'm actually really looking forward to this one. You're basically going up against a swordsman, and you have to like perfect counter or parry his attacks. You can't use skills or bursts or anything. It's basically just a sword fight, and yeah, that just looks really cool. The last mini event is definitely a more casual one. You're essentially making like an arrangement of flowers, and you can set that in your Serenity teapot then. Another pretty casual event, Spices from the West. You're basically cooking stuff. There is a little bit of timing required to get the right ingredients in, but yeah, it seems like a very casual event. But yeah, you can also give these dishes to companions in the Serenity teapot. If they like it, you'll get some like companionship XP or friendship XP, whatever. Next up, we have a more gameplay focused event, Vibro Crystal Research. There are these Vibro Crystal setups where you can get various buffs. You'll need 2 teams here, similar to Abyss. And yeah, you go in and fight some enemies. Kind of Hyakunin Iki vibes that we currently have. It seems we will have another picture taking event. They don't actually show anything here, but we will also be getting 2x ley line rewards for 20 resin. Again, system updates and optimizations. On mobile, if you tap and hold your character icon, that brings up the party menu. Tutorial menu is getting slightly revamped, so recently viewed, recently unlocked tutorials will appear at the top. That was actually it for system optimizations. That was a little bit light on the quality of life, but alright. And outside of the soundtrack getting released, that was it for version 2.6. It was definitely on the larger side of updates since we're getting new artifact sets and a new area, of course. I'm still not sure about the exact scale of this area, if it's going to be like an Inkanomiya or smaller or whatever. So I guess we'll have to wait and see for that. But yeah, that was it. Make sure to tell me what you think about the update in the comments down below. Dropping a like or subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed is always greatly appreciated as well. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.